Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. I'm from Anjuman Centenary B.Ed College of Hubli and myself M.A. Khawas, working as a lecturer in this college. Today, I shall discuss with you through the online class for B.Ed first semester, and the subject is integration of teaching skills. As you know that you already trained about the skills of micro teaching, the various skills of teaching, like introducing of lesson, skill of introducing lesson, or skill of explanation, then illustration with examples, blackboard skills, stimulus variation, etc. So here, after this training of micro teaching skills, then you are going to implement all these skills in your whole lesson. That is called integration of teaching skills. This is also called as a link practice. No amount of expertise in any one skill can promise a good lesson. It is the integration of two or more selected skills which forms a macro lesson. Here, micro lesson means skill level practice. Macro lesson means various skills level practice. That's called macro lesson. That is of a full 40 or 45 minutes period. Sometimes it can be 15 to 20 minutes period. The transition from a micro teaching session to a macro teaching session is done by taking a few selected skills with more content than in a micro lesson through link practice. A link such a link lesson gives a student trainees a test of a real class without the panic and uncertainty associated with a macro lesson. Thus, a full unit can be chosen for link practice. The unit is then divided into several smaller portions and with a few selected micro skills. A link lesson a link lesson can be framed. This gives an opportunity to use even those skills which may not have been practiced before. This lesson can be demonstrated to a group of teacher trainees who can then practice continuously with no break in subject matter. Before the integration of lesson, we have trained about short topic through the any one skill. You have performed the skills uh, about any one short topic, like introducing lesson or explanation, stimulus variation, fluency in questioning, then illustration with examples. But here, no break. It is the continuous link practice of skills, like first skill of introduce lesson, then next explanation or illustration with examples, then blackboard skill, etc. One by one we are giving links. It's called a link practice. When mastery has been attained in various skills, The teacher trainee is allowed to teach the skills together. This separate training program to integrate various isolated skills is known as link practice. First year, link practice helps the trainee to transfer effectively all the skills learned into the micro teaching session. Then it helps to bridge the gap between training in isolated teaching skills and the real teaching situation faced by a student teacher. Next, the desirable number of pupils is between 15 to 20. Then a preferable duration is 20 minutes. In micro level practice, that is only the duration of 5 to 6 minutes. But here combination of many skills or a link of many skills, it carry 20 minutes. The desirable number of skills is 3 to 4 skills. You can implement many skills in your topic, either 3 skills, 4 skills, or 5 skills according to your subject or topic. Then integration of teaching skills is characterized by first the appropriateness of the use of skills integrated, then adaptability to other situation, then proper sequence of the skills, then optimum proportion of each skill in teaching, then coordination of different elements involved in teaching. Link practice or integration of skills can be done in 2 ways. First one is integration in parts. 3 or 4 teaching skills are integrated and transferred them into a lesson of 15 to 20 minutes duration, and again 3 or 4 skills are integrated and are transferred all the skills to one lesson. Here generally we can say 3 or 4 or 5 or some skills we are integrating, we are linking to one topic, that is a one lesson, that's called a one lesson. Then integration as a whole. Student teacher integrates all the individual teaching skills by taking them as a whole and prepare a macro lesson, then transfer them into a real teaching situation. Here integration in parts, this is the first link practice type. Then second one is a integration as a whole, that is the macro level practice. Here we can remind the various skills of micro teaching. First one is a skill of introducing a lesson, then skill of stimulus variation, skill of explaining, skill of illustrating with examples, skill of using blackboard, then skill of probing questions, skill of questioning, skill of reinforcement. These are the very important micro teaching skills. In your B.Ed syllabus, they indicated to us you can select any skills, any 6 skills from these all. So here in your integration lesson, you select important any 6 skills and give the link one by one skills, or implement in your topic or subject, and practicing, that is called integration of micro teaching skills. That's called a macro level practice of teaching skills. So this teaching practice can be done into a 15 to 20 minutes duration. Here one model I prepared for your training purpose: integration lesson of teaching skills. One lesson I prepared. First, you have to write the information, name of the student teacher. Who is the trainee? Write the name first, name of the student teacher and your semester, B.Ed first. Then subject, example, social science. Then your subject is for which standard? 8th standard. And topic, you have chosen example, source or sources. Then duration for the teaching, that is randomly 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes. Here what are the columns or a structure of a lesson plan? First column is skills, then teaching points, then TLM means teaching learning materials or teaching aids, then teachers activities, then students activities, then blackboard work. Here you can write the various skills you are going to implement. The first one is introducing skill. Through this you have to write the questions. This is the device of questioning in introducing skill. Here you can write other devices like a storytelling, drama, or a video clip, charts, maps, equipments, etc. You can introduce the lesson through the various devices or techniques. For your, according to your subjects or topic, you can select or choose the different types of devices for motivating the students. Here I prepared simply the question method. First here I prepared 5 questions and the expectation answer from the students, that is the previous knowledge questions and previous knowledge answers. For example, in which standard do you learn? The answer is 8th standard. Then second question is which subject you are learning? Generally in 8th standard, English, Hindi and other languages, social science, maths, etc. Then what are the parts of social science? History, political science, sociology, geography, etc. Then from the history subject, we can prepare the question, what is history? History is the subject studying the past incidents. This is the expectation answer from the students. Then last one, what are the required things for past incidents? What are the required things for studying the past incidents? Some students can say the answer, that is sources, or sometimes they can unable to say the answer, it means improper answer. So now we can announce the topic, that's called statement of aim. Here you tell the statement, that is so my dear students, today we will study the topic sources. Next explanation. In this lesson Your topic is sources. The first teaching point is history. Generally, what is history? The meaning of history. History is a systematic study of the past. History is written on the basis of sources. Hence, there is no source, no history. Is the stance of history. Historians is like an advocate. Here you have to write the students activity. Students are listening carefully. Then blackboard work. You write on the blackboard the title, that is the sources, top of the blackboard. Then continuation part of explanation. The advocates present their arguments on the basis of followed evidences and sources related to their case. This is the first teaching point. Here, student activity. Students are listening carefully. When you are explaining the any teaching points, then students are usually listening with interestingly, carefully, or curiosity. Here in this your teaching point and explanation, what are the important points you identify, you recognize the important points, and then that points you have to write on the blackboard. For example, here forts, coins, inscriptions, arms, temples, and other religious buildings. From the explanation part, you have to choose the important points and write on the blackboard. That is the skill of blackboard writing. The next teaching point, sources. What is a sources? Then you are going to explain about sources. What is a sources? Human beings had created many facilities to lead their life since ancient times. If the things used by human beings in the past have remained, then they are called as the sources by historians. Hence, the agricultural tools are left by the earlier people. Forts, coins, inscriptions, arms, temples, and other religious buildings are considered as sources to write history. Similarly, the written documents and literary works are the main source of history. First one is literary sources, then archaeological sources. You have to write the teaching point types of sources. First one is literary sources, second one is archaeological sources, and you also write on the blackboard these two types of sources. Then illustration with examples. Here you are giving many examples related to the sources of history. First one is the literary sources. Here there are two types of in literary sources. First one is a written literature, second oral literature. Here the explanation about the written literature. Then you can write on the blackboard the types of literary sources. Suppose you have prepared any chart about the literary sources, any picture or line, graph, etc. You have to mention in the TLM column and show the students. When you are showing the any picture, charts or maps, then you have to write in students activities. Students are watching the video or charts or model, etc. here blackboard skill also is there. Then illustration with examples. The teaching point is next, native literature. Native literature, it's about detail, and suppose what are the important points related to native literature, you choose and write on the blackboard. That can be called as a blackboard writing skill. Suppose you prepared any TLM, you can mention in the column of teaching learning material, means TLM. Then explanation continuation part, then teaching point is next, foreign literature. Here the literary sources, native literature example, you have to write on the blackboard. Kautilya's Arthashastra, King Hala's Gatha Saptasati, Vishaka Datta's Mudra Rakshasa, Kalhana's Rajatarangini, etc. These are the important sources of native literature. So you should write on the blackboard, explain and write on the blackboard. Then foreign literature, then you should explain briefly and you can write the important things on the blackboard. Then here students activities, students are listening carefully or interestingly. Then illustration with examples. Here you are giving many examples related to the sources like Megasthenes Indica, Fahian's Gokoki, Hansang's Siyoki, etc. And also you should write on the blackboard. These are the very important points. Then explanation, next continuation part of explanation, that is called various types of sources. Here sub part of literature, oral literature, the brief explanation about oral literature. Then stimulus variation, when you are giving or demonstrating gestures, movements, pause, focus, etc. on the important points, you have to mention in the first column stimulus variation. The next, blackboard skills. Here various types of archaeological sources are there. You should write on the blackboard the types of archaeological sources. Your teaching point is types of archaeological sources. Suppose you have prepared any TLM of related to types of archaeological sources, then you can mention the chart of archaeological sources. Then students activities, students are listening carefully. The next explanation continuation part, the teaching point is the inscription. This is the one type of archaeological sources. Here you can prepare the chart of inscription. Any one example, for example Aihole inscription or Halmidi inscription, etc. Then here brief information about inscription, you should explain, that is the explanation skill. Then students are watching the chart and listening carefully. Then also you have to write the important point from this explanation part, write on the blackboard. Then illustration with examples. Suppose you are giving extra examples related to inscriptions, you mention or tell them the examples. Then you have to mention the first column, illustration with the examples. Then next, again illustration with examples related to coins. The teaching point is coins. Then you should prepare the chart of coins. Here in history, various dynasties, rulers, coins are there. Example Samudragupta, then Gautami Putra Shatakarni of a Shatavahana king, etc. So you collect the picture of coins and prepare the TLM. You show the students. Here, students are watching the chart and listing the your explanation points. Then you can write on the blackboard sub points and important points. Then here blackboard skill, you have to write the important things on the blackboard. Then illustration with the examples related to monuments and other ruins. These are the types of archaeological sources. Then TLM, picture of monuments. For example, Gol Gumbaj, then Mehrauli, Iron Pillar, etc. Various examples are there. Palaces, temples, forts. These are the examples of monuments. You prepare the TLM and show the students. Students are watching the picture and listening. Then write on the blackboard the important things of this matter. Then fluency in questioning. Here, after the explanation, after the blackboard skill or fluency or a stimulus variation, various skills. So after the discussion, after the explanation, after the clarify, or after the learning of the students, or after the understanding the students, your duty is asking the questions whether they are understood or not. So here one skill, that is a fluency in questioning. You are going to ask the some important questions related to which you have explained the subject or topic. So here the method is very important. How to ask the important questions one by one or uh, linked questions. These significant questions or answers should be prepared. You have to ask clearly, fluently the questions to the students, because students, if they understood the questions, they can answer easily. Sometimes students are getting confusions. Sir, teacher is what asking to us. So they should not get confused. You ask fluently the questions, fluently, clearly, and grammatically. No one, no should done any mistakes. First one is first question is how do historians write history? The answer is historians write history on the basis of sources. Then what is the meaning of sources? Answer is the materials needed for the writing of history are the sources. Then how many types are there? First one is literary sources. Second one is archaeological sources. Then name any two native literary works. First one is Kautilya's Arthashastra. Then King Hala's Megasthenes. Then name any two foreign writers. Your answer is Indica's Megasthenes Indica. Then Fahian's Gokoki. Here fourth question is what? Name any two native literary works. Kautilya's Arthashastra and King Hala's Gatha Sapta Sati. Then name any two foreign writers. Here Indica Megasthenes wrote the book name Indica. Then Fahian's Gokoki. Here Gatha Saptasati is the work of Hala. Means it is the example of native literary works. So here what you have explained the subject. From this you prepare the important questions and ask them. So this is about the structure and plan of integration of micro teaching skills. So this is very important. First your step is training of various small teaching skills, and then your second step is integrating or linking the all the skills into a one particular topic, that is called one a whole lesson. It can be continue for 15 to 20 minutes or 40 to 45 minutes. Suppose you are implementing all skills, that's called one whole lesson, macro level lesson. It can be 40 to 45-minute lessons. Suppose you are implementing 3 4 or 5 skills, that can be done into 15 to 20 minutes. Here last one is you should give the homework to the students. That is you can prepare any one question or homework for the students. For example, write the note on importance of sources. So this is the structure of integration lesson of micro teaching skills. I hope all of you understood. Thank you for watching and listening.